we get here? How did we get here?
Kamala Harris warned.
How did we get here, and why are so many of the warnings from the 2024 election suddenly being revisited? This debate isn't simply about whether Kamala Harris was right or Donald Trump was wrong. It's about what happens when campaign promises, political predictions, and warnings about leadership collide with the reality voters experience afterward. In this video, we're breaking down the arguments, the contradictions, the economic and foreign policy concerns, and perhaps most importantly, the question of political accountability. Were voters warned about the risks and simply ignored them? Are today's problems actually connected to decisions made after the election, or are some of these claims being exaggerated for political effect? We'll separate the emotion from the argument and examine what these clips are really revealing about American politics, voter responsibility, and the consequences of choosing a particular kind of leadership. If you want a balanced breakdown of what's happening beneath the political noise, subscribe and stay with us. Let's jump into the debate.
He said he will target and punish those who disagree with him or refuse to bend to his will. He calls these Americans the enemy within and says that he would use the American military to go after American citizens. Journalists whose stories he doesn't like. Nonpartisan election officials who refuse to cheat by finding a few extra votes for him. Judges who insist on following the law instead of following him. It is for reasons like these that General Mark Milley, the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Donald Trump's top general, has called Trump, and I quote, fascist to the core.
Vice President Harris was going to give us $20,000 if we were buying our first house. But you chose the eating the cats and the dogs guy. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. That's who you thought was a better choice. And now we're at war, and everything's more expensive, and that's who you chose. Thank you.
Hey, do you remember back in 2024 when MAGA said if you vote for Kamala Harris, gas is going to go up, groceries are going to get higher, and we'll be at war with Iran within 1 to 2 years? Well, if you voted for Kamala Harris, that has happened. But the thing is what I don't understand is Kamala Harris isn't the president. Donald Trump is. Now, she did predict that this was going to happen, but a lot of people didn't believe her. Just like she said that Trump wasn't going to put America first, and he hasn't. He put Israel first, then went to Venezuela. Now we're at war with Iran. He just got back from China. That's 4. America's 5th. America's in 5th place.
After listening to all of these arguments, one thing becomes clear. This debate is bigger than Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, or even MAGA. The real question is how voters evaluate leadership when the consequences become visible. Political campaigns are built around promises, fears, personalities, and competing visions of the future. But once the election is over, those arguments become real-world consequences, economic decisions, foreign policy choices, government priorities, and the everyday pressures families experience. That doesn't mean every prediction made during a campaign automatically becomes true. Some warnings can be exaggerated, some outcomes can have multiple causes, and hindsight can make political arguments look much simpler than they actually were. But that is precisely why accountability matters. If a voter supported Trump and now believes that choice was wrong, changing your mind is not weakness. It can be a sign of political maturity. And if someone still supports him, the responsibility is to defend that position based on results, not simply loyalty or anger toward the other side. Because ultimately, elections aren't about winning an argument online. They're about choosing who gets entrusted with power. And when the consequences arrive, Americans have to ask one uncomfortable question. Did we choose the leadership we actually needed, or simply the leadership we wanted to see win? That question will matter long after this debate is forgotten.
Everything that she predicted Donald Trump would do, he has done in less than 18 months. He has started new wars. He has driven up inflation, not just at home, but global inflation as well. He has driven up energy prices. He is spiraling us into the biggest recession that anyone has ever seen since the Great Depression. So tell me, if you voted for Donald Trump, why exactly was it that you could not put the best interest of yourself, your friends, and neighbors above your misogyny and patriarchy?
I was at a baseball game yesterday and I saw all these new young parents walking around with little bitty babies. It was only their first kid. You could tell because they didn't have any other kids tagging along with them. Kamala Harris was going to give them $6,000. Okay, just so you know, $6,000 for your first child. She was also going to give you $20,000 for your first-time home buyers. And now you've got a war. Now you've got a pedophile in the White House. You've got an orange man running rampant. Gas prices are soaring. His MAGA base is leaving him. People in Washington are abandoning him. The public is walking away from Trump. All the while, you could have been getting $6,000 for your first child, $20,000 as your first home buyer, universal health care for yourself. And again, now you've chosen a man who was hanging around with Jeffrey Epstein messing with underage girls. That's not a good look. And a man had also said on Air Force One that would probably be the closest he ever got to heaven, being 40,000 feet in the air. So I think you made a mistake. So I hope you feel bad now.
If Kamala Harris had become president, Trump would be in prison, the Strait of Hormuz would be open, Ukraine would be victorious, gas prices would be lower than $3 a gallon, the United States would be respected and wouldn't be the laughing stock of the world. You know, it's time to get rid of Donald J. Trump. Let's 8647, 8647, and get rid of that criminal in the White House.
My hot take for the day is that if Kamala Harris, Miss Coconut Tree, was the president of the United States right now, the collective awakening that's happening right now would not be happening right now. Trump may not be the president America wanted, but Trump is the president that America needed, because Trump is the perfect personification of how America has always been. Democrat, Republican, black with Obama, white with all the other 46 presidents, and that's just my take.
The Alice in Wonderland nightmares is going on right now.
All I can say is, how fucking dare you?
If you voted for that man, if you voted for anybody other than Kamala, and you live in one of the states that it was, close, or if you didn't vote, fuck you.
I'm just sitting here thinking, Donald Trump is such an awful person. He is such a horrible president. And it's not like people didn't warn everyone that would listen how bad he was going to be. And sure enough, here he is. And it's just terrible. It's as bad as what we warned you it would be. And a lot of you literally laughed at us. You laughed and said, oh, yeah, enjoy the next 4 years. He's going to be great. He's going to be this. I don't hear from any of you anymore. You've all ghosted. You've all disappeared. Isn't that convenient? You're just running and hiding now. Like you weren't on here full force endorsing Trump. And now all of a sudden you've just literally disappeared. And you're not even on this forum anymore claiming how wonderful he is anymore. Because you know it's going to make you look like a complete piece of garbage. But just so you know, we know who voted for Trump. We know who you are. And we already think that of you. And it's never going to change. Never. It's never going to change for us. We're going to know and remember who voted for all of this BS that we're going through right now. And the pain that we're going to go through for the next 2.5 years. We're going to remember it. Trust me on that. And we're going to blame you. Oh yeah, each and every one of you. Forgiveness? I can promise you, no time soon. No time soon.
Some former Trump supporters may eventually admit that they made the wrong choice. That realization should not be mocked because democracy needs people who are willing to reconsider harmful political beliefs. But regret cannot stop at quietly withdrawing support. Real accountability means acknowledging why the warnings were
Kamala is better than me, because if I was her right now, I would have been rubbing it in y'all face this whole time. Y'all would have been sick of the amount of I told you videos that I would have been putting out. I would have had a routine of tweeting every hour on the hour of things that he said was going to happen if y'all voted for me that is happening now. I would have had an outro on every single one of my videos of him saying that he wasn't going to start any new wars, and then I would have clipped the part where he said that this war is necessary. This lady has too much content right now. She could post 5 videos every single day for the next 6 months about contradictions he said about her that is happening now. I would have been rage baiting so much, they would have had to delete my social media. I'm talking about every single day I would have been posting, how about them gas prices? I don't think y'all really understand. If I was her, you couldn't pay me enough to stop. I would have went on a I told you so tour. I would have went to every state that I didn't win and held a rally at the gas station. I would have posted me buying a new home, smiling with all my teeth showing, and my caption would say, you bought a new home yet? I don't think y'all really understand the amount of trolling I would have did. I would have went and stood in front of the White House and flexed a bankroll on y'all. And I would caption it something like, this could have been you, but you ain't want to vote for a woman, I guess. All I can say is this lady is way better than me. But
without saying a bad thing about Trump, why should anyone out there vote for Kamala?
Great question. I think that Kamala Harris is a better candidate compared to Donald Trump for 2 main categorical reasons: policy and character. If we want to talk about character first, like she's not a 34 count felon. She's not a proven sexual abuser. She's not a religious persecutor that tried to ban all new Muslims from coming into the country, right? She also stands for individualistic rights, freedoms, and liberties, right? She wants to fight to codify federal protections for a woman's right to choose, ensuring, right, that the family dynamic is safe and we're not forcing 18, 19, 20-year-old boys and girls to be parents. If we want to talk about policy, she wants to fight for the average working class American. She wants to reduce income inequities, right, by uplifting the low and the middle class. We could also reference the fact that she wants to limit corporations from buying single family homes, further ensuring that, the younger generations especially can be a homeowner one day, and this will hopefully make that day sooner. We could reference how she wants to cap the amount of that any American citizen will pay out of pocket to buy pharmaceuticals to $2,000 a year, which is just a beautiful policy, keeping more money in the pockets of those that need it the most. And I mean, there's a plethora of other things that we could talk about here. But at the end of the day, I'd say why we should be voting for Kamala Harris is for progress. Okay. Let's make our economy better. Let's care about that average American. Let's ensure, basic human rights. And let's keep the guy that tried to stage a coup to overthrow the country in 2020 out of the office. It's very simple.
This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact.
Somebody does a bad job, I fire him.
This is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States. Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself.
See, I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy.
I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted for national security crimes, economic crimes, election interference, has been found liable for sexual